Yo, what's up? So, headed out to Alviso. You guys know we're going to do a quick equipment breakdown. I'm on something new today. This is the Chapter 2. This is the Nero Show Special. It's about 2 sizes too small for me. And yeah, we're going to do something. Chris, what are you riding today?
Jeff, are we heading or what, Jeff? Come on.
Let's do it.
We're heading off. Let's go.
That's right. Got Chris Miller here in the flesh. He's definitely not riding this bike. It is way too big for him. But hey, got you all the way down for the most important race of the entire year, Alviso.
This is it, mate. This is the entire reason I think I came to the US. This is peaking for my event. Now, I know Jeff's going to hit his ketones pretty soon, but I'm not going to go down that route.
All right, no excuses. You guys, what do you guys eat? Like Vegemite down there?
Yeah, just Vegemite. Just Vegemite and kangaroo butter.
That's it.
Yeah.
This should be nothing compared to that.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
To Alviso. Oh yeah, it's
So spicy.
pretty disgusting.
1 hour later.
Rookie mistake. Okay, now we're recording. Should we try that again?
We should. Take 2.
All right, take 2. We're in the garage now. We just finished Alviso 30 minutes ago.
It's fresh in my mind, Jeff. A controversial debut for me, I have to say. There's a lot to talk about here.
We were so fast back in the garage, I haven't even showered yet. I apologize for that.
That's noted. It's noted. We have refueled. We've refreshed. My ketones have kicked in.
They're just kicking in now.
I'm ready to go, all right?
We're caffeinated. Let's talk about some Alviso footage. Okay, so we're finishing our neutral lap. Now tell us real fast, Chris, what is your plan out here?
Okay, so I seeked some advice coming into this. So Jesse and I had a chat about how I should approach this race. And look, I'm not a sprinter, number one, and this course doesn't really have seemingly any selection points. So I'm kind of up against it in that case. So what I want to try and achieve here is I want a medium to small group to go away, like 5, 6 guys, that kind of thing, and then be able to attack that group and hope for sort of second group dynamics. So I want a group of 6 or 7 going away and then be able to attack over the top of that. That's essentially how I want this to play out.
And it's about what you're going to get. I'm going to pass you on the left right here, Chris, and there is a group of 5 or 6 off the front right now. Now, these early breakaways at Alviso, it's not likely those are like the final selection, but you also just can't disregard them. So I'm going to look for chances to get across. And I don't want to do the work myself because that sucks. And I like being the draft. That's a lot more fun. But it looks like I'm going to do a bit of an effort here just to close this one down. But you can tell I'm looking over my shoulder to look for that counterattack because I'm in the same boat. Like I do like sprinting, but I like sprinting from a smaller group for sure. Like it's always easier to go from a smaller group. And when I see Matt here on the right, send it. Big threat, but we're 21 kilometers to go. And there is the Thirsty Bear duo in this race. So as long as like they're not part of that, I'm not too worried about it.
The team tactics is something that I'm not really going to think too much about here because I feel like I don't really know who are the strong people, who aren't the strong people. But my kind of thinking is being on the front foot and being on the front foot without essentially being the person attacking. I want to be that person who's following the stronger moves and ultimately trying to make that selection.
Yeah, if you're like in a new race and you don't know the people and you're thrown in this position that Chris is, you don't necessarily have to know like who the teams are, like who the strong teams are or whatever, but knowing like if there's a team represented in a group, that's probably got a better chance. And I'm going to give it a pull here, it looks like.
I'll be honest, Jeff, I was literally just going to follow you. Like, let's be honest. Like, the amount of times you have done this course, I know you've won this course a lot of times. I wasn't just going to sit on your wheel, but I was not going to let you sort of get away in a nice little group and ride away. It was plan number 1. Make sure Jeff doesn't ride away. Speaking of which, it looks like you're going to roll through here over the top now. I think it's Matt is still off the front, and you're going to put a little bit of power out, pedal through this corner. I'm still sort of paying attention to can you pedal through these corners and that kind of thing. I noticed that you do. And I had to look back at this point, and you'll probably see my power go up a bit because there were a few wheels dropped behind us here, Jeff. And I thought, what's better than getting away with you? Well, there's nothing better than getting away with you, really, at this point. That would be the ultimate outcome.
Yeah, you said you weren't going to let me get away, and here we are. Like, that was weird, though. I wasn't putting out that much power. they just didn't follow. These weird things happen. Like, people don't want to do the work. And I don't know if you heard, if the GoPro picked it up. I told you right there, like, hey, Thirsty Bear's gonna chase
I got
back.
excited. I got a little carried away, and you just sort of went, just chill, Chris.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
there are a
early
few
on.
people.
Yeah, we're early on, and like without Thirsty Bear, they're almost certainly going to chase it back. But when we looked at the rear camera, actually, they weren't the ones who chased it back. But they're still going to be consequential because this is so weird.
This
right
feels
here.
like a moment, don't you think? Like
Yes.
It's with they're just there. The guys have just come across to us. I remember you were talking in a video not long ago about these moments.
And then there it goes. This is a moment. You're absolutely right. And instead of chasing it back, they counter, which is great. It's brilliant. And it was hard to follow. That's why nobody followed it. So we're all going to kind of shuffle in. And I am looking, again, just like I did on the last lap. I'm having deja vu here because we're on the same part of the course a lap later. I'm going to do the same thing. Hey, if somebody else can chase that back, all the better. I don't want Blaine out there. He's one of the Thirsty Bear riders. I don't want Blaine out there. He's got the ability to ride solo this entire way, but I also don't want to be the one to take the initiative to bring it back. So I'm going to follow these moves.
So that's you going on the attack there now, isn't it?
Yes. So once I saw Matt go, guess we'll flip over to my footage. Once I saw Matt go right here, that's when I was like, okay, well, Blaine by himself is pretty threatening, but Matt and Blaine together is that's too much.
Yep.
So I cannot let them get together, and that's why I committed quite a bit of energy. And this marked the beginning of the instability in the race that resulted in, spoiler, the breakaway.
You could kind of argue that I was pretty poorly positioned there as well. Like I was a bit too far up and a little bit indecisive about whether I should be jumping across to this, and hence I've kind of attacked from like third wheel to get across to this. But like you said, this was looking too dangerous to let go, no matter where I was in the group.
Yeah, and we both made this selection. And like I said, this is the first of a number of selections that results in the eventual breakaway. Let's actually see how that plays out. Okay, so this is a critical moment in the race, right? You've identified it. You're there. Matt eventually gets brought back. So now this is the front of the race. Donnie Ice. He cannot help himself, this guy. You picked this up, right? Donnie is just power for days.
So constantly monitoring what guys like to do. And this fella just loves getting on the front and hurting himself. Like, it's great.
Yeah, he rips it here into the headwind. Doesn't seem like a fast effort, but it's a powerful effort. The numbers don't lie. And he just continues riding hard here. And as long as he's pulling, I'm going to continue to follow because, we're doing damage behind. You can see it's single file. And you can see that gap back to the chasers, the people who have missed this critical move, it's now we're putting the pressure on them. So I still think that this group is too big to become like the breakaway because we're like 7 or 8 riders, or maybe even more. We're like 9 riders at this point. So there needs to be a selection from the selection. But in the meantime, let's make things as hard as fast as possible.
In the meantime, are you going to do a turn, Jeff, or just let this guy ride? It's unbelievable.
If he's got his head down and he's smashing, he's going this fast, I'm not going to come around him.
It's interesting though because this is playing on. So this will flow into what we chat about a bit later. But I'm remembering this Donnie guy, big turn, loves a well. Let's just mark that down as something that I've remembered. And Jeff now finally comes through and does a turn and absolutely rips it. I can confirm, sitting about 3 or 4 wheels behind him here, that this was full gas.
Yeah, Donnie kind of started it. He brought me into the tailwind, and I am happy to take a really hard pull here because you saw I looked back in the chest cam. It's one of the cool things about the chest cam. You can kind of see my body English a bit, and I realized, we're doing something here. This is a thing. So I commit some more energy to it, and I'm happy to see that other folks, Chris included, and even this dump truck on the left is contributing to the effort. And this really become, like, we dropped a few more riders right there with Donnie and my combined effort. This continued rotation, this becomes the selection of the day. It's 2 Thirsty Bear riders, important to note, 2 Thirsty Bear riders. We have Donnie Ice, Chris, myself, and then a new guy. I think his name was Logan?
Yep.
Logan. Shout out Logan, 3rd crit, dude smashing. We're going to see more of him in a little bit. And honestly, this group of 7, not much to say other than like we were surprisingly well behaved and rotating nicely, which is rare at Alviso and especially rare for a breakaway of this size.
Yeah, it felt very friendly, I have to admit. Once everything sort of settled down, no one seemed to skip a turn. Everyone was pulling. Look, the way I would describe it was certainly not full gas turns, but hard enough, but also just the fact that there are 6 of us. Even if you do pull a pretty hard turn, you're gonna get a good solid rest after that anyway. So
Right.
yeah, it was, and everyone was obviously strong enough to getting around this at this point. So yeah, we're gonna kind of move to the next phase of it, really.
Next phase is Jeff flats out. I flatted.
Allegedly, look, there's still an investigation going on to why he missed those 2 laps, but
Free rest, buddy.
free rest.
Free
yeah.
rest. No, I've had bad luck. Guys, I hate to say it, I'm going full tubeless now.
Thank you. Finally.
I know. I've been a late adopter. I poo-pooed it in a public video, but I redact my comments from before.
YouTube regrets. YouTube regrets, Jeff.
Too many flats. And so anyway, I changed my flat. I hop back in. Let's see how the final couple laps play out. And that brings us into about a lap and a half to go. We're getting close to the end here. Surprisingly, we're still playing nice together. I was expecting the Thirsty Bear guys to start one-tubing us. They're the only guys with teammates.
Yep, the only ones, but at this point, it's like you said, right towards the end. And I can know personally, I am very, very keen to get on the attack ASAP.
The weirdest thing happens right here. Tell us what's going on.
So yourself and one of the Logan, I think it is, just roll through, and one of the Thirsty Bear guys decides to drop the wheel, and there's a little gap. There's a tiny little gap, maybe 10, 15 meters occurring, and yeah, you can see there I'm thinking, I should jump across. But remembering back to a little bit earlier on, Donnie, there's Matt jumping across now, and again I do the little, should I?
Hesitation.
The hesitation. I won't. But you know why I don't? Because I've got those 2 teammates that you were talking about earlier on here, and the guy who just does those massive welding turns is also here with me. So I'm thinking...
Donnie was welded out, man.
I'm thinking, I've got the welder here with me. But turns out they were done welding. They were clocking out.
Donnie was done welding, and Thirsty Bear Duo, they're playing the game hard. They're like, no, you. And they're playing a game of chicken, and this is bike racing. They're taking a big risk because... here's the funny part about, I didn't even know we had a gap because I didn't want to get a gap. All of a sudden, people were just started dropping the wheel, and then we started the game of chicken. To my pleasant surprise, we had a gap. And then when I saw Matt get across, then it was like, oh, we're on. Because Matt got across, he immediately got on the gas. And actually, let's just pop over my footage. So Matt jumps across, choo-choo train.
Get on that wheel.
Yeah.
Get on that wheel.
No hesitation. You saw the power that was required to get on it, and all of a sudden it's like I'm looking back. I'm like, okay, well, shoot. I kind of wish Chris was here, and more importantly, sorry, Chris, I wish one of the Thirsty Bear riders was here because I'm thinking, man, they're not going to just let us ride. They just let us ride.
Yeah, you can kind of sense you at this point looking around, going,
really?
Really?
Yeah.
Are we doing this?
And Matt's committed to it, and obviously I'm not going to let Matt go because we're coming through one to go here in just a few moments. And with Matt taking this massive pull on the front, I mean, look at the speed we're going here. Granted, it's a tailwind, but we're pretty committed to this. And I'm thinking, okay, Matt's committed to this, so when he elbows flicks me through right here, I'm going to commit to it. I give it one more check just to see what's going on, like who's chasing. And again, pleasantly surprised, it didn't look like a cohesive chase effort going on. Thirsty Bear playing the game hard.
Certainly playing the game, and I'll be honest, I was very, very confused with what the 2 guys were doing. I kind of got the sense that whether they weren't too sure who was meant to be doing the pull, because it really just would have taken that one effort to bring you guys back, or at least get close enough that the second rider would be back in the game. Because right now we are out of the game. This is not our race anymore.
Right, and I'm thinking, meanwhile up the road, look at us. We're working well together. We're now the 3 of us all sharing the load. In fact, this pull was hard, dude. Just Logan third crit, the guy's smashing. And I'm thinking, okay, even if they get their act together behind and they do chase us back, it's going to hurt them bad. Because, guys, we're inside of 2 kilometers to go, and we have a 12-second gap, 10, 12-second gap. So even if they do find the energy to close it down, that's going to be it. Somebody's going to spend their race now welding this back together because they were playing chicken and they lost. You don't let Matt get away like this. Matt's so strong.
How many times am I going to get to do Alviso? Not many. So I'm not just going to let this ride up the road without being involved. But here's the thing, yes, I'm going to do an effort. I'm going to try and do something, but it's not a full-fledged attack. I can't do a 1 minute just bridge myself across and kill myself effort. So I still need these guys.
Yeah.
So do an effort that reinvigorates them. You guys might start stuffing around with each other, and we're back in the game. Who knows?
Right, and to be honest, we did. If we pop back over to my footage, we because there was so much messing around back in that chase group and indecision, we actually had time to start playing games a little bit. Like, look at my power coming down considerably. We each took, I think, 2 really hard committed pulls in the last lap, and then we all started looking back going like, we still have 8-10 seconds. Like, we have time to rest and think about the sprint.
So back with me, I'll do a turn. And what's great about doing a turn is having the 2 people who sit on you the whole time attack over the top of you. Yeah, how not to make friends. Anyway, look, they're back there. We're reinvigorated. We can see you guys. I think you are literally just going around that corner now. So it's just going to take one of these thirsty bears to essentially suicide themselves and get themselves across, and we're right back in this game.
Which at this point they have to do. We're inside of 1 kilometer. And I was looking back thinking there is a chance they're still going to connect. But like I said earlier, because we had this chance to really come off the power, we're fresh for the sprint.
I'm really surprised Logan's giving you a pull here. I really am. I kind of would have thought that these 2 guys would be looking at you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to be third. For the record, the best position in this lead group of 3 is last, because you have the element of surprise. But I'll take second, because I know at this point, if I try to drop back 1 more wheel with 400 meters to go, like Logan can just ride away potentially and pull a fast one on Matt and I. But I'm just looking back here. I'm checking back. I don't want to overlap wheels, but I'm also just aware of what Matt is doing, because I don't want to be caught by surprise. And look, we're 200 meters to go, so at this point, it's time to stand up and give her the beans, because I can see that Matt starts his sprint, so I start mine. And man, I mean, Matt's a big diesel engine, but I got that pop.
Yeah, you can see there.
I wouldn't let him get away solo, but for the same reason, he probably shouldn't wait for 150 meters to go with me. So I'm able to pull it in for the win. But I'm interested to see what happened in the sprint back with you guys.
Oh, Angry Chris. Let's pop back to Angry Chris. So back with Suki Chris, and I am not going to let these 2 thirsty bears beat me, because I do feel like they have made not only life a little bit difficult for themselves, but certainly my race a little bit more confusing. So I don't know which one of these 2 guys has the sprint, but it looks like the guy's second wheel. Now, is it Donnie on the left?
Ice
so
on
I
the
think
left.
I think okay, go with that wheel, because there's not much wind. It's downwind. Got to fight now for his wheel. Going to fight as hard as I think I can, and I'm in front of the thirsty bear, which has to be a good thing. And believe it or not,
What the
hell?
I thought, wait,
800 watts goes real fast these days, Jeff.
you said you're not a sprinter. What's going on?
Yeah, maybe I'm aero. I don't know.
The non-sprinter Aussies are actually sprinters by U.S. standards, I think. Good sprint for third, man. Your first Alviso. It's a shame that I kind of wish you were up there with us. But that's how racing goes sometimes, man. It was great having you out.
It was everything and more, and I'll definitely be back for another one.
That'd be an absolute treat. But hey, until then, I want you guys to go check out the Chris Miller Cycling Podcast. I'll leave a link down in the description. And as always, thanks for hanging in there. Catch you in the next one.
Thanks, Jeff. See you soon.